A city boy, Kenny, moved to the country and bought a donkey from an old farmer for $100. The farmer agreed to deliver the donkey the next day. The next day, the farmer drove up and said, "Sorry, son, but I have some bad news. The donkey died." Kenny replied, "Well then, just give me my money back." The farmer said, "Can't do that. I went and spent it already." Kenny said, "Okay then, just unload the donkey." The farmer asked, "What are you going to do with him?" Kenny, "I'm going to raffle him off." Farmer, "You can't raffle off a dead donkey." Kenny, "Sure I can. Watch me. I just won't tell anybody he is dead." A month later, the farmer met up with Kenny and asked, "What happened with that dead donkey?" Kenny, "I raffled him off. I sold 500 tickets at $2 a piece and made a profit of $898. Farmer, "Didn't anyone complain?" Kenny, "Just the guy who won." So I gave him back his $2. Kenny grew up and eventually became the chairman of Enron. That Kenny was Ken Lay. This story is a variation of the theme, if you get a lemon, make lemonade. In today's second reading, Paul states a faith and biblical truth. All things work for good for those who love God. When Kenny Lay was a young boy, he was a very fervent lover of God, church-affiliated, strong believer. There is so much in our lives for which we did not ask, seek, nor desire. At the same time, they have become a part of our life. What we have done is to make the best out of the cards that we have been dealt. Some examples include sickness, addictions, loss of a job, loss of a relationship, a death. Even sin can be included in our list. From sin, we can learn. What? Humility. How? Sin is easy. Virtue is a challenge. We can learn compassion. As we become aware of our weaknesses and faults, we stop judging others and have a heart of compassion for the struggles of other people. We can learn gratitude and joy as we experience God's forgiveness and mercy. As we are forgiven, so we learn to forgive others. As an aside, an Episcopal priest shared recently how a woman came to him and was just heartsick, heartbroken, felt betrayed. Her husband had had an affair, and she said, "I just cannot forgive him." Well, after going through a long and lengthy conversation with her, the Episcopal priest said to the woman, "I'm wondering where in your life either you have not accepted God's forgiveness or you have yet to forgive yourself." And this woman was quiet for a long time, and then she said, said, well, I had a pregnancy when I was a teenager, and I had an abortion, and I've never told anyone about that. And she just sobbed as she acknowledged that. And it was that acknowledgement that led her and some other understandings that led her toward leading to the forgiveness of her husband. Many of us have favorite songs, movies, hobbies, and foods. Do we have a favorite scripture passage? Consider the words of Paul. We know that all things work for good for those who love God. Consider putting this passage on a card where we can see it daily. Let the quote sink into our hearts, minds, and souls. Let this faith and biblical truth be a focus for our reflection and meditation. Let it be an inspiration to greater faith, hope, and love. All things work for good for those who love God. In the end, we will not be stuck with a dead donkey like Kenny Lay. No, in God's graciousness and generosity, we will become inheritors of everlasting life. That's the precious gift promised us. We do the best we can with what we have and are, making the most of the cards we have been dealt. And my sisters and brothers, day in and day out, we continue to love God